So the first charge that we're going to see is the first-degree reckless homicide charge with the use of a dangerous weapon. And this goes over to this individual right here, Joseph Rosenbaum. So if you remember him, this was from this part of the interaction where Kyle Rittenhouse is actually being chased down by Joseph Rosenbaum. So this is him right here. This photograph comes from a different picture of the evening where he was basically getting in somebody else's face and saying, why don't you shoot me? You want to shoot somebody, shoot me type of language. That was earlier in the evening. And then, essentially he was being provocative. From what we were able to see, this is a mugshot that I was able to find from him. Don't have any other, sort of flattering pictures that I was able to come across. Otherwise, I would have included one just for the sake of balance. But we have a mugshot, and then we have a picture from him earlier in the night, and then we see him here sort of being chased away. So they're saying that Kyle actually did recklessly cause the death of him under the circumstances, showing an utter disregard for human life, contrary to the statutes. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the statutes today on this show. I spent a long time yesterday or in the previous video really detailing the statutes. Spent about 45 minutes going through every single one of them. So we're not going to do that again. I'm going to presume that you watched that video. You're up to speed on that. And so we're just going to read the complaint and the probable cause statement because, like I said, this is something that is written, in my opinion, so kind of one-sided that there's only really one logical conclusion that we can come to, and we will get there. So that was count one. Count one goes, it's basically the victim of that count is Joseph Rosenbaum, which is this individual right here. All right. So we have him here. Count number two, complaint number two, is going to involve the chief video director for the Daily Caller. This is Richard Mcginnis. This is his photograph right here from his Twitter account. If you want to follow him, I actually have his Twitter handle later in the presentation here today, and so you can follow him if you'd like. But he is the victim of a first-degree recklessly endangering the safety, his safety, and we're going to dive into why they included him on this complaint. Why is he the victim of a crime? He wasn't actually shot or anything. If you remember, this is him. When Rosenbaum was shot, Mcginnis actually goes over there and takes his shirt off, and he's trying to heal, or kind of nurture or save him, help him with his wounds. And why is there we go. He's trying to help him with the bullet wounds. Now, we're going to learn later that he was shot multiple times, and sort of the efforts of Mcginnis don't really do much of anything. He shot multiple times, so he was going to die. But he is the stated victim of this crime, and so it's important to recognize that because we're going to hear a lot of statements from him. He really is the only witness in this entire case. We're going to see the other witnesses that they talk to. There really isn't anybody else. This guy is the only sort of independent witness. The other people, three of them were shot. Two of them died. One of them had a bullet wound in his elbow. We're going to get to all of them, but they are not actual witnesses to what happened, at least in the first part of the incident. So we're going to spend a lot of time talking about Mcginnis's statements. And the third complaint, the third count of the criminal charge, is going to be because of the death of Anthony Huber. Now, Anthony Huber is here. We can see this. This is his photograph right here. It was also the same guy we see here. So he was approaching Kyle Rittenhouse and was hitting him actually with the skateboard. Because he was shot in this altercation and he died, they're charging Kyle with first-degree intentional homicide, use of a dangerous weapon, because he did cause the death and he did intend to kill that person against these two violations. So that's going to be count three. We move on to count four, and this is going to be the other individual who was shot in the shoulder or in the elbow, and his name is Gage Grosskritz. And this is who he is. Let me get rid of myself there. We've got Gage Grosskritz, who was this individual here, who, over here, he's running up to Kyle. As he's on the ground, we're going to see when we continue forward that Kyle actually sort of sits up and fires around. It hits him in his right elbow. You can see him right here. Now, you can see in both of these photographs, he's got a gun right there. He's got a handgun physically on him. And then here, when he's nurturing his wound, I covered it with a blue circle here because It's really, really graphic. It's really gruesome, actually. And YouTube gave us an age restriction on one of our other videos for showing stuff like that. So I learned my lesson, not going to do that anymore. But he has a handgun here as well. He's also got a criminal record. That doesn't really matter here. But this is the fourth, it's attempted first-degree intentional homicide. So that's what they are doing on that one. The fifth count is going to be against an unknown person. So we don't even know who this individual is, but you can see him here from the video footage. He's literally jump kicking Kyle Rittenhouse right essentially in the head. And they're going to charge Kyle with attempting to basically fire at him, which is a reckless endangerment. It's endangering his safety. And so you can see that this unknown individual, we don't know who that is going to be the victim in count 5. We move on, and we've got count 6, which is going to be the possession of a dangerous weapon by a person under 18. This one really is sort of the most uninteresting to analyze. My understanding is, I haven't taken a deep dive into the statutes, but that it's technically illegal for somebody who's under the age of 18 to openly carry a firearm. However, I have read that there are some exceptions to that rule if it is a rifle or sort of a long-barreled firearm that doesn't have any modifications to it. So, if that's the case, there may be an exclusion to this. This is the least interesting charge in my mind, at least in terms of criminal liability. If he's convicted of this thing, okay, what does he do? He goes to prison for 9 months. I really don't think that's going to happen, but if it did, that's a lot better of an outcome for Kyle than life in prison for several different murders, which is where it looks like they're trying to go. Now, there are some other interesting things about that particular charge, because if there are some arguments to be made based on the video that I did previously. When we analyze the statutes, there are some pressure relief valves that if a person is being charged with a crime and they want to exercise the self-defense privilege, they can't do that if they were breaking the law. In other words, you can't break the law and then suddenly claim self-defense when somebody responds to you breaking the law. I don't think that really is what happened here, but that is going to be something that the prosecutor's office may be able to break up. I don't think that they're going to, just based on the rest of the complaint. As we get there, you're going to see what I mean.